you're not already there, everyone, please go ahead and go to the Idaho ERC.org website, log in, and click on the slides for this evening. This evening, we're going to be discussing a little bit about GroupMe. We still have a lot of people that have questions about GroupMe and why it's being utilized and how to use it. And so we're going to take a few minutes this evening and talk about the GroupMe fundamentals and why stakes and wards should consider using GroupMe instead of text messaging. Go to slide number 2. GroupMe is a free messaging application or app. It's a simple way to stay in touch with friends, family, and other groups. GroupMe works on Windows, works on Android, iOS, and on any web browser, so you can stay in touch on the go. You can use a desktop computer, a laptop, a tablet, a smartphone, or even a basic dumb cell phone. In short, you can use almost any electronic device that has internet or cell phone messaging capabilities. Go to slide number 3. GroupMe is a valuable emergency communications tool because it provides a simple, convenient, and flexible messaging capability for groups of people to instantly communicate with each other. It is as simple as creating a group and inviting people to join the group. Once a group has been created, you can instantly send messages, photos, videos, GPS map coordinates, calendar events, and other information to the entire group at once. You can use a smartphone, like an Android or an iPhone, or a simple old dumb phone that can only display text messages. They all work in GroupMe. Go to slide number 4. In today's world, our cell phones are typically with us all the time. Cell phones can be an excellent way to quickly notify ERC communicators of emergency events. If you have a smartphone, your app can notify you of an instant GroupMe message. If you use a basic phone, sometimes called a dumb phone, that only provides text messaging and has no internet access, you can also use that to receive instant GroupMe text messages. With a basic dumb phone, you won't have access to photos or maps or other documents, but you will still be able to receive all of the message information the same as everyone else. Let's go to slide number 5. So people often ask, how will I know if there's an emergency happening? Well, sometimes it will be obvious that bad things are happening or that the power is out, but other times, such as a wildfire or a dam breach, you may not be aware of the emergency event. As long as the internet and cellular service are available, GroupMe can be an extremely valuable tool in notifying ERC operators, priesthood leaders, family members, or others that something is happening and what they should do. It is understood that GroupMe will not always be available because the internet and cell phone service often go down in a significant emergency event. However, many times, cellular phone and internet services are available. During local wildfires, for example, cellular and internet services have been available. These services can be available even if only for a short time at the beginning of an emergency event. Power outages, for example, may not immediately affect cellular phone service. The window of time that cellular service is up may be enough time to send out an immediate message using GroupMe. You should consider using GroupMe as one tool in your emergency communication tool belt. And we should understand that it will not always be available. However, we always want to use the best means of communication available to us. This should include tools such as GroupMe when available. People often ask, why would you use GroupMe for emergency communications if the internet is out? It's of no use. Well, that's absolutely correct. However, as just mentioned, we frequently have emergency events where some communications are still up, including the internet. And GroupMe can be a very valuable tool when an emergency is just starting. So, I repeat this because it's an important point that is often missed. The ERC is an emergency communications program. This means that will use any and all forms of communication necessary to get the message through. GroupMe is one more tool in our emergency communications tool belt. Go to slide number 6. You might ask, but doesn't text messaging do the same thing that you just listed? Well, no it doesn't. GroupMe provides a lot more than just simple text messaging, such as it provides a centralized control list of participants. Everyone in the group can message everyone else. It provides automatic adding and removal of participants, and it works on smartphones, dumb phones, computers, and laptops, where text messaging does not. Let's go to slide number 7. Let's look at the differences between GroupMe and simple text messaging. On the left, you see that GroupMe provides much more than just a simple text messaging, including text messaging, videos and photos, map coordinates and directions, calendar event and reminders that can be pre-scheduled, documents, access to documents and other files. And here's one of the really cool things. It will maintain a historical log of all the messages and information sent. So during an emergency event, everything is automatically logged and recorded for review by everyone else in the group. A really cool feature. It provides direct messaging from one person to one person, or it provides broadcasting of messages to the entire group. GroupMe can send messages through both the GroupMe app and through regular SMS text messaging. So it actually does do SMS text messaging, but it also does the GroupMe app side of things. So one of the things that is important, that it can be difficult to manage if you send a text message to a group, everyone in the group can reply, but if there's anybody that's been added that's new, somebody else may want to reply and have it go out to the larger group, but unless that group, an email is going to send out to everybody, some of the participants may not receive it. With GroupMe, everybody will always get the message at any time, so it's a nice, one of the big differences that makes it really handy. Let's go to slide number 8. So how do you get a GroupMe account? Well, the simplest way is if you have a smartphone, is to download the GroupMe app and follow these instructions that are listed here. After tonight's training, you can go back to this slide and you can follow these instructions. Let's go on to slide number 9. If you have a dumb phone, you go to the GroupMe.com website on your computer, sign up for a new account, and then follow these instructions. Again, after the net, you can come back and follow these instructions to get set up. Let's go to slide number 10. After you have a GroupMe account, you'll want to be part of a group or multiple groups. To join a group, you must be invited into a group through a text message or by an email sent by another member in the group. In other words, you need to be invited. Anyone who is a member of the group can add you to the group from the app, or they can send you a share link. The share link is an easy way for you to invite people to join your group. You can send a share link by an email or a text message, by a Facebook or Twitter, or any other way that you communicate with others. Details on how to create a share link are in the helpful slides, links on slide number 11. So let's go to slide number 11. So these links are here for you after tonight's training. There's also a PDF file. It's on the web page right next to where you clicked on these slides. So you can follow these links and kind of get access to other information on GroupMe. Let's go to slide number 12. So here's an important fact that everyone should be aware of. After you join a GroupMe group, you must send a message to the group, or GroupMe will automatically remove you from the group after a matter of days. So after you've been added, that's good, but you're going to disappear in a few days if you don't send a message. You don't have to send anything fancy, just a hello, hi everybody, or whatever you'd like. That's all it takes for GroupMe to, that's GroupMe's way of having you verify that you want to be in the group, if that makes sense. Let's go to slide number 13. So I apologize. I was going to update these images here earlier this evening, and I forgot. So these images are a little bit out of date in that the current apps that you can install on your phone or may have upgraded on your phone is going to look slightly different, but it's still basically the same concept. So if you look at the top of the screen, you'll see 4 red numbers, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those are 4 different screenshots of the GroupMe app. So screen number 1 is the message screen. The screen that you see here is for a group. In this case, it's a shot of the Rigby Region Emergency Communication Specialist Group. In other words, this is a group for all the stake specialists in the Rigby region to communicate with each other. To send a message, all you do is type in your message, which will show up down where you see the red text where it says type your message here. All you do is type your message, or if you want to get fancy and use the microphone and let your phone type it for you, you can do that too. And here's where it starts to get really cool. You see the plus symbol, and it looks a little bit different again on the current app, but you'll see it when you log into the new app. When you click on that plus symbol, you can do all kinds of other stuff. So let's take a look at the red number 2, so the second screenshot over. So screen number 2 is the location screen. So at the top of the screen, you'll see a set of icons that are circled in the red oval. These 5 icons, and again, they look a lot nicer new. These are a little bit older in this image, but there's still 5 icons that show you the photo library. There's a location icon for mapping. There's a media search icon for finding images or photographs. And there's a calendar event icon that allows you to schedule events. So you can schedule an event, for example, for a ward ERC meeting or a stake meeting, and then at the appropriate time, it will automatically send a message to everybody, reminding them to show up to the meeting. And you can even have it send a second message to give them a second reminder so many minutes later. So it's kind of a handy tool that you definitely don't have with a regular text message. So the location icon allows you to send your geolocation information, so it'll show up as a map on everybody else's phones, and if they want to come and find you, and you want them to find you, then they can actually use their phones and GPS and find a way back to you. So if you want to say, I'm right here, and here's where the problem is, and send out a map, that's a really good way to indicate exactly where you are and what's happening. Let's look right to the right of that, to the red number 3 for screen number 3. So screen number 3 shows the photo library screen where you can select and send a photo from either your phone's photo list, where you can take a photo with your camera or video and send it to everyone, or you can even search for other photos online. So it's a really nice way to be able to have access to things and send photos. We've actually used this feature during wildfires where we were communicating on GroupMe and sent a map of where we were, and we sent where the fire is, and then we sent photos and video of what we were witnessing in real time at the emergency event. Very cool feature. Now let's go to the right and look at the red number 4. On the far right is the calendar event screen. And this is where you can schedule a meeting and send an invitation to all the recipients of the group. You can even send a map location by putting in the address of the meeting. You can send a nice photograph, and you can set it up so there are reminders to remind people to show up to the meeting. You can even set up to be an online meeting. And actually, through GroupMe, you can even set up, this is Skype, but you can set up a video conference all through GroupMe and schedule it all through the scheduler. Very cool features. Let's look at slide number 14. So there's a little bit of GroupMe etiquette you should be aware of. One, remember that every message sent to the group is sent to everyone, and every response that anybody sends back is sent to everyone. So if you send out one message to a group of 20 people, and 20 people reply saying, I got your message, that's going to be 20 times 20. That's a lot of messages flying around. And so you want to be careful with what you send out, and only respond if it's necessary. So you want to try to eliminate redundancy and any unnecessary messages. Work on keeping all GroupMe messages short and to the point, and practice being concise. You should change your profile with each GroupMe group. GroupMe allows you to change your profile, in other words, like the name that shows up when you send a message, because you might be in a different capacity on different groups. For example, on your Word radio net, you might want to have one information of like your family. If you're on a stake ERC group, for example, you might want to include your Word information on with your name. And so basically, you want to customize your profile with with kind of your nickname, so that you show up in the appropriate way for every group. A common format is to list your first name, then your last name, and then your call sign, and then depending on the type of net, you would indicate maybe where, if you're like indicate your ward, if you're on a stake net, or your stake if you're on a coordinating council net, for example. So just depending on the type of net, you can set that. So remember to set your GroupMe profile up with every different group that you have within GroupMe. Let's go to slide number 15. Another common etiquette that is recommended is don't use uncommon abbreviations in your nickname or anywhere else on GroupMe. Some online abbreviations, such as LOL, might be known by most these days, except for maybe your grandfather or grandparents. They may not be up to speed on some of these things, but other abbreviations like INAVEO are not readily recognizable for everyone. In case you're wondering, INAVEO stands for I'm not a very experienced operator. I just made that up. But it demonstrates that acronyms or abbreviations may be clear to you, but not others. If everyone doesn't understand the abbreviation, then the message failed to communicate the desired information. So be very careful. We have a lot of people that have gotten really used to sending abbreviations with people that they commonly and frequently text with. Just remember that not everybody is up to speed on all those. So just be careful on GroupMe when you're dealing with other groups that you don't frequently communicate with on a text basis. Be sure and send a message that's intended just for John. Don't send that to the entire group. Send a direct message just to John. So you can do that with GroupMe. GroupMe will allow you to send a message from person to person or from you to the entire group. So if you want to send a message that's just intended for one person, it's good etiquette just to send them a direct message rather than send it to everyone. Groups that are intended for emergency and exercise use should only be used during emergencies and exercises. Remember that extraneous chit-chat should not be done on an emergency exercise GroupMe group. Save that for another group or even a direct message. I know some stakes have set up within GroupMe. You can actually set up kind of subgroups within your group. One might be for emergencies and one's for more kind of chit-chat type of messaging. So if you do those, then it allows people to ignore or even silence things that they don't want to hear. But we're going to talk about some cautions with silencing or muting your GroupMe group in just a minute. Another thing is please don't send messages late in the evening or even maybe very early in the morning unless it's an emergency. If the message can't wait until morning, you should probably, if it can wait until morning, you should probably wait. People don't appreciate unnecessary messages during their quiet hours. Let's go to slide number 16. GroupMe is a valuable tool if everyone that should be in a group is part of the group. So encourage other operators or other emergency communicators to get a GroupMe account and invite them to join your stake or ward groups as appropriate. Many wards and stakes also have leadership GroupMe groups set up. For instance, a stake might have one for bishops and stake leadership. A ward council, they often have GroupMe groups set up. And so GroupMe is a very, very, very powerful tool And if it's used often and frequently, just like we do our radio every week, then it's a good way to exercise it. In fact, let's talk about that on slide number 17 next. So treat GroupMe groups like any other ERC net and exercise it weekly. A good practice is to call a GroupMe net alongside a corresponding radio net. So if everybody on a radio net is also on a GroupMe group, then you can start off and exercise that GroupMe group at the same time. It's a really good way to do that. We do that on HF nets here in the state in Idaho, in Montana, and it's also utilized by church headquarters HF nets and other church headquarters activities. So that's how we first became affiliated with GroupMe, or familiar with it, I should say, was we were notified or asked about it by church headquarters one day several years ago. If you're wondering, GroupMe is owned by Microsoft. I'm not quite sure exactly how they monetize the use of it, but they obviously have, because it's actually a very strong and very well set up tool with lots of redundant backup around the world. So it's tough to take down GroupMe all at once. Not that it can't be done, anything can be taken down, but it's got some good redundancy in it, and it works well. Let's go to slide number 18. So one caution that we recommend that you not permanently mute any of your GroupMe groups in the GroupMe app. GroupMe allows you to mute a group. So for instance, if there is something going on that you're not a part of, you're doing something different with your family, when there's an exercise going on, for example, you can mute that group so you don't get all the messages coming in. GroupMe will allow you to mute things for 1 hour, forget what all the options are, or 8 hours, or a day, or a week, but it can also allow you to permanently mute things. We recommend not permanently muting, because now you've completely eliminated the goal of having the GroupMe group set up in the first place. So we have people who have signed up for the ERC announced GroupMe group that typically only sees one message a month, which is a test, just to make sure everything's working. And we have many people that actually join the ERC announced GroupMe group, but then they permanently muted the group, so they will never get any notifications unless they happen to manually go in there and look. And so that kind of really goes counterintuitive to actually having the GroupMe going. So be careful with the mutes. We recommend that you just mute things for an hour at a time, so that you don't mute it for longer and then forget about it and then miss things that you don't want to miss. Let's go to slide number 20. Remember that, slide number 19. Remember that communications are what make a strong team. Use tools like GroupMe to improve your communication during good times, and you can use it to be an important tool on a bad day. If you need to mute for some reason, only mute it for a short time. Let's go to slide number 20. Okay, I'll stand by. This is NF7J. Do we have any comments or questions? Please come down to call sign.
KK7 EQV.
EQV, go ahead.
Yeah, what location on the phone does it get muted? I was having some mind saying that I have permanently muted it, but I don't know where to change that setting.
So it's on a per group basis. So you go into your group, you might have to go into each group, and so up in the top left corner, there's a little icon. Sometimes if the group has a special icon set up, you'll click on the icon, and then there is a button there for mute. And if you click on mute, you can mute it for 1 hour, 8 hours, 1 day, 5 days, or always. That's where we recommend that you not mute it on always, but that's where it's at. And again, it's on a per group basis. It's not for the entire app. Did that answer your question?
Partly. Is that within the app itself that you're talking about?
Affirmative, that's correct. Any other comments a lot of information on the ERC website. If you go and if you search for GroupMe, you'll find multiple other presentations that you can look at, and you can read the scripts, and you can follow along and look at the slides, and get more information on how to set up and how to use GroupMe in your wards and states. So there are many tools out there. GroupMe is one. Well, we're not even saying it's the best, but it is a really good tool for emergency communications. If you find something better, that's fantastic. Use whatever works for you and your local units and organizations. But we found that GroupMe works exceptionally well, and it's got some big backing from a big company to keep things up and doing. Some of these smaller apps kind of come and go, but GroupMe is a pretty solid app. One more pause for any comments or questions.
AG7LHD.
LHD, go ahead.
Yeah, I noticed something. I was going to ask you a question, and then I noticed the answer to my question, but I thought it might be interesting to other people. On the page, it's actually screen number 12, the actual 12 on the screen, with the 4 pages. On page number 1, the left page, down in the lower right-hand corner, if you look at that, you'll see that there's a little microphone icon. And that microphone icon allows you to talk your message into the message instead of having to type it. So if you've got a very long message that you want to send out, it's a lot easier to just hit that, talk your message, and it will type it out, and then you just go back, because it'll always make a few little mistakes, and you have to correct a few little mistakes. But it's a lot easier than typing out a long message. And I just thought people would be interested to know that that is available so that they don't get deterred from sending out the full message they need to send. AG7LHD.
Very good. There really is a lot of different features that we have not covered, and we probably want to have some other trainings to kind of go into some detail on some of the other tools, including you can set up video calls and conferences using Microsoft Teams on the back end, but you can do all kinds of things. So thank you, everyone, and we encourage you to, again, take a look at GroupMe and or revive. Maybe you already have a GroupMe group in your ward or state that's become inactive. We encourage you to revive it and use it on a weekly basis. So this is NF7J, back to net control.